Greetings, everyone. David J. Coon with Qigong Awareness, author of Qigong for Beginners, Your Path to Greater Health and Vitality. Back when I was a kid, I was run over by a trailer. I was on a hayride and fell out, and literally the trailer ran over my back and all the way up the right side. Within a year or two, I was diagnosed with a condition of scoliosis. They called it severe scoliosis and said that I had this severe degenerative spinal disease. And as the years went on, 15 years old or so, they said, you're going to be crippled by the time you're 30 years old. They were pretty spot on with that, on the level that they were, because by the time I was 25 years old, they said later, the doctor said that my spine looked like I was 85 years old. But I introduced Qigong, meditation, medical Qigong, martial arts, and various other studies into my life and began exposing myself to alternative medicine, things like acupuncture and chiropractic and massage and so on. And I eliminated the spinal disease, was able to reverse it probably around by the time I was about 28 years old. So at 53 years young, I'm now teaching this and am considered a medical Qigong master and teaching people how to heal themselves, heal their bodies, heal their minds, rediscover their soul, all that kind of good stuff. So I want to talk to you today specifically about shoulder pain and neck pain. So we're basically talking about like upper back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain. This is something that a lot of people deal with. So, in one of my last videos that I just filmed a few minutes ago, which you guys will see later, I specifically addressed lower back pain, and I gave you one simple exercise to do. I want to give you a simple exercise that you can do for um, upper back pain, shoulder. A lot of people like this is the shoulder or the deltoid, okay? But a lot of people also think of this as their shoulders, and this is your shoulder too. It's your trapezius muscle, okay? But anyway, this kind of pain, right? And the stress in the back of it, you see people doing this all the time, okay? All right. So here's the thing. It took me many years of having back pain and working through that back pain. I won't go into all the different ways in which I did it, but basically through, let's say, just say through sports, through Qigong, through going to college and sitting in chairs and this bothering me and not being able to ride in a car for like more than an hour without kind of freaking out because my back was in so much pain. So anyway, I remember a lot of what this is like, and I want to tell you a little bit about what I did to heal it and bring healing to it. So this was a new concept to me way back when, and now I'm somebody that teaches about it all the time. So it blew my mind when I first learned it, okay? This is a little acupuncture doll, if you've never seen one of these before. This guy's got all kinds of little points identified all over the body, all right? And this is the basis of acupuncture medicine, is that we have these different points. They are flowing on different pathways called meridians. There are 12 primary meridians, 12 primary lines of energy running on the body in acupuncture, but in yogic practices, there are also many others. We have a chakra system related to energy centers. You may have seen the colors on the front of the body. In our program, I talk a lot about these different pathways. I also talk about, like, we have a certification program, and I teach online courses, and I teach live seminars, and I teach Qigong classes. Anyway, when I'm teaching those kinds of things, I talk a lot about these different energy centers and how this all comes together because I also have a background in Western science. And in Western science, very briefly, I will just say within the epicenter of where these chakras sit, and this is getting to our point of how we heal some of these things, you have hormone centers sitting there. These are the epicenters of hormone sacs within the endocrine system that hold these hormones, which are very powerful cell to cell communicators that move throughout your body. We have stress hormones. We also have rest and digest hormones, healing hormones, okay? Happy hormones like serotonin, okay? And stress hormones like cortisol. Hormone is very, very powerful stuff. And in Western science, that's something that we, call it and have given it the name for these cell to cell communicators, hormones. they're very closely associated with what we call qi in Chinese medicine. Qi meaning, in general, energy, but also sometimes specifically referred to as universal life force. And in yogic practices, this same idea of qi is talked about, is referred to as prana. And in Korea and in Japan, for example, in Japan, they have a martial art called Aikido. Ki is the same idea as chi or prana. So it's a universal life force. Okay? All right. How does this all relate? Because I know you're eager. You want to learn the one simple exercise that you can do to alleviate shoulder pain, upper back pain, and neck pain. Okay? And I want to give it to you. So, um, this is an exercise that is going to be very simple. There are many exercises that I'll teach you where we're going to move around and we're going to breathe and we're going to do all these kinds of things. This is not one of those exercises. I did another video on shoulder pain, and when I filmed it, some of the area in which I was working on got cut off, and people have asked me over the years to please refilm that. And so this is in part a refilming of that, but I'm still leaving that video up because a lot of people liked it and were able to figure out what I was talking about, even though they couldn't see what my hands were doing. So let me give you a little further teaching on this, though, whether you've seen the video before or have not seen the video before. And it's on my YouTube channel. It talks about healing like shoulder pain. But this is really for shoulder pain, upper back pain, and neck pain. So check this out. So in the last video on lower back pain, I talked about the lower Dan Tien. The lower Dan Tien is essentially at the area of your navel center, and then it goes deeper within. It's energetic in nature. In Japanese martial arts, we refer to this area as the hara, okay? And it is seen to be a source of power and a source of energy, and therefore it is also an area of your body and your being, your energetic being, that can become depleted, and for a lot of people it has become depleted. In the last video that I did on lower back pain, I talked about how lower back pain is associated with the kidneys, because the lower dantian is associated with the kidneys. So when people are like, ow, my lower back, that's also related literally to the organs of the kidneys. Okay? Now, in this video, though, I want to talk to you about what's going on with upper back pain. So one thing that is definitely going on is that lower dantian is, let's just say, repressed, suppressed, and the chi is not flowing there very well. Okay? And so I highly recommend that you check out the video on low back pain to bring some healing to the lower dantian, because that will help you tremendously to take the pressure off of the shoulders, because that's actually what's happening, is that the pressure is pushing, pushing, pushing. It gets up here. And if it goes further, by the way, guys, you end up with a really bad headache. So if you realize that that's all pressure, one thing that you can do is go back and look at the exercise that I showed you for the lower dantian, because that's already going to help what's going on in the upper back, shoulders, and neck. And again, also would help with headaches, although headaches I'll address in another video because there are some specific things typically going on with a headache. But that kind of headache where it's like aching in the back of your neck and it just keeps building and coming up your head, that is something that can be alleviated by working with the lower dantian, and that is something that can be alleviated with what we're going to talk about right now, which is bringing some healing to this area called the solar plexus. So in Chinese medicine, the area of the solar plexus, which is the area of where in yogic tradition, this would be the epicenter of the third chakra. And the third chakra is yellow in color, and you'll typically see a little, color here if you look at colored pictures of the chakra system. And in Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, this is also referred to as the yellow court. Okay, you see some parallels there between the color system and the frequency of energy associated with that area. The two primary organs that are involved in that area in terms of traditional Chinese medicine and ancient Taoist practice, which Qigong is a form of meditation and ancient Taoist practice, is the liver and the spleen. So, do you have pain in your right shoulder? If you have pain in your right shoulder, up here in the traps, up here in the neck, okay, more here in the deltoid, any of this can indicate issues going on in the liver, the right side here, right along the rib cage. So my rib cage is like right here, the bottom of my rib cage. My liver is right there up underneath the rib cage there. And so when we get pain radiating up here, and it can be like a little bit of an ache, or like if you're a runner, for example, and you ate a sandwich before you went running, a lot of times you'll get a pain right up here in your upper chest. Sometimes it's on this side. When it's on this side, okay, it is more associated with the liver side. When it's more on this side, it's more associated with the spleen side, which would be over in here. And this is also the stomach side. So ask yourself a question right now. Where is your pain? Is it more on the left side, or is it more on the right side, or is it both? If it's on both sides, then you have issues with both the spleen and the liver here. Also the stomach on this side, left side. And on the liver side, it would also be like gallbladder, because the gallbladder is closely associated with the liver. Does this mean you need to rush off and see the doctor because you have a diagnosable liver problem? No, not at all, because um, in most cases, I would say no, because you go to the doctor, your doctor says, oh, your liver's fine. They're not really looking at it in the same way as traditional Chinese medicine. Okay, so one of the best things that you can begin to do for yourself to begin to eliminate this discomfort, okay? You need to do a little bit of fasting. This will be the quickest way to help eliminate some of this. And I recommend like intermittent fasting, where you fast for 5, 6, 7 hours, where you're not eating anything, you're drinking water, and you're drinking particularly lemon water, because, especially if it's on the right side, because it will help flush the liver gallbladder area and start to eliminate the pressure here. Now, whenever you fast, you're taking all of the energy and all of the chi that would go down to try and digest that food, that pizza that you ate yesterday or whatever it was, and especially if you ate pizza or something, because pizza will clog the liver and the gallbladder, and so cheese does. And so when that happens, you have this discomfort pushing up here in your shoulder, but it's actually coming from the organs. It's not coming from the tissue itself. So that's why you can even go to the massage therapist. You get this area massaged, they rub it and everything else, and then like the next day, the pain is back. So if that's happening to you, for example, then you might want to practice this fasting exercise. Now, in practicing the fasting, whether it's for the right side or the left side, because if you fast, you also give your stomach some rest, okay, on this side, and your spleen some rest, which allows both of those organs, or however many of those organs, all of those organs really, to start resting and digesting. That's a simple way of explaining it. They start to rest and they start to digest and they start to take care of business, instead of feeling this pain and this poison that's stuck up here in the tissues, okay? It helps it move. It helps your lymphatic system move. It helps your digestive system move. That will start to change the chi running in around and through your body. And then that begins to change your respiratory system and helps the exchange of air, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, all of that, and bring healing to that area. So fasting is the number one um, highlight or detail that I will give you, and then I'm going to give you this exercise that I gave you in one of the other videos to heal shoulder pain. Couple it with fasting, and you have an excellent exercise. So, basic first thing would be is like, let's say you have a pain on the liver side and it's up in the right shoulder here. And by the way, for example, if you look at the little acupuncture doll and you see these little different lines here, the gallbladder channel, here we go, right there. Right here, if you can see that, right there, it's kind of like down from the neck a little bit, and then right here, before we get to the actual arm itself, right in the middle-ish, okay? This is a gallbladder point. It's a very common point used in acupuncture treatment. It's called gallbladder point number 21, so gallbladder 21. And that goes right there, right in the middle of the shoulder. So when that's starting to ache, remember what I just told you on the left side, or the right side, sorry. What is this related to? Liver and what? Gallbladder. When this referral comes up here and you get the referral pain, it's right up there in your shoulder. Ow, that aches. Yeah. But it's not just here in the shoulder, it's in the liver, gallbladder. So what can can we do? So you're going to lay both hands right here over the liver gallbladder side. So if you're having it more on the right side, lay both hands right here on the liver gallbladder side. Now, you want to hold your hands there 20 minutes, okay? That's a good amount of time to do one session on yourself. Holding this for 20 minutes, you are looking for a particular sound. A lot of times you'll get a gurgle sound. It sounds like your stomach when you're hungry, but instead of coming from the stomach side, it comes from the gallbladder side. And a lot of times it has a little bit of a squirrelier sound, so speaks best way I can put it, but it kind of and it sort of rings out, okay? When you get that type of sound coming out of there, you are going to experience some great relief over here in the shoulder. And if you're not getting that sound, it's because you're still eating, you're not practicing just enough Qigong. In Qigong practice, wherever we lay our hands, we bring attention to that area. It is the attention and then the hands and the combination of that practice that begins to generate heat. That heat will begin, your hands will get hot eventually, and it will create movement in the liver and in the gallbladder, for example, and then boom, you're going to get the relief in the shoulder up here. And it's a lot easier to do than sit here and try and hold your shoulders, okay? Same is true for the stomach side and the spleen side. So if your pain is in the shoulders up here, okay, then hold the opposite side. So hold over here, hold your left side. Now, I believe it's been quite a while actually since I filmed that last video on alleviating shoulder pain, but I'm pretty sure I gave you guys a little bit of a little mini breath of fire in that one where you're inhaling in and out through your nose and you're doing a mini breath of fire, as I recall, as I recollect. And so that's absolutely continue that practice. I'm not going to teach you that one again today, but I am going to point out the laying of the hands and give a couple other details. So at any time, breath of fire could be incorporated. If you want to check that out, go check out the other video, Qigong for healing shoulder pain. But otherwise, if it's in your left side, guys, lay your hands, both of them, over the stomach spleen area, which is again at the bottom of the rib cage. Those two organs sit right up underneath here. You're holding it 20 minutes at a time. Lie in bed. Those of you that are Qigong practitioners, you're practicing with me in class, so on and so forth. You guys can stand in standing tree meditation and hold this area. You're going to get even more juice out of that practice, okay? But especially if you're a beginner and maybe you're just not up to the effort of what it would require to stand in standing tree meditation that's kind of a little more advanced. Do it while you're lying in bed. Set your timer for 20 minutes, hold it for 20 minutes, and do this consecutively over 7 days. And again, if for some reason it's not working for you, seemingly, because it will work for you, but if it's not working and you're not getting the results that you'd like, you need to fast a little bit longer. You need to stay away from food a little bit longer. You need to drink that water and that lemon water, which will also bring an alkaline, will help um, bring your blood back to a more basic rather than acidic uh, place, which is going to be much more healing for your body. So it's going to bring some calm and healing to the stomach side as well as the liver side. And then on the liver side, the lemon water actually acts to help squeeze things through the liver and gallbladder. And if it's even more on the right side, one last little tip is to add some cayenne pepper to your lemon water, and it will create an even greater squeeze in the right side, help you alleviate what's going on in the right shoulder. Lastly, for now, on this, in particular for the left side, if you're having, I'm sorry, for the right side, if you're having more pain in the right side, then I highly recommend not only the fasting, not only the holding of the hands to this side, you need to back off on your coffee. You need to back off on your cheese. You need to back off on your chocolate. You need to back off on the types of fat that you're consuming. Avocado is good. Cheese is not for this particular issue and this particular condition. And if you're getting it on both sides, then guys, it's all across your solar plexus. You need healing all through this area, okay? So work on the lower area, that's lower Dan Tien. Check out the video on low back pain where I talked about that, and any of my Qigong classes that I teach and so on. We talk a lot about lower Dan Tien. And then in this case, come here to the solar plexus to bring some healing to this upper back area. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know how this works for you. And if you have any questions, please give me a shout out. I'll do what I can to get back to you and answer your questions. as best I can. Thank you so much for tuning in. David J. Coon with Qigong Awareness. I hope this helped. If it does, please let me know and pass it on to a friend. Thanks, guys.